What's good, y'all? It's BADRUDDIN, and welcome to BADRUDDIN'S Guys College App. So this is going to be a 5-part series I'm going to be making where I give you guys all my advice on the whole college application process. And at the end of these 5 videos, I'm going to be doing a Q&A session where I go through all the questions you all leave me in the comments. So if you have any questions when it comes to any of these 5 videos, just leave them in the comments of any of the videos, and even if it's not related to that video, just leave it there, and when I get to the Q&A session, I'll address as many questions as I can. Now, before I actually get into this first part, I want to kind of give you all a little overview of what this 5-part series is going to be like. So if you watched any of my I applied to 55 colleges videos, you know that I applied as a pre-med person. So I applied for biology or some kind of science major, but I always had that pre-professional emphasis of pre-med, and I wrote about that in my essays. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about, I am going to give a lot of pre-med and STEM specific advice when it comes to applying for college, but I'm also going to include a lot of general stuff too. So even if you're not interested in pre-med or STEM, then it's still going to be of value to you. So keep watching, and it'll be fine. So, but do know that I'll be giving you a lot of pre-med focused advice too. So if you are interested in pre-med, definitely watch all 5 of my videos. They're going to be super informative, and it's going to be a lot of the stuff that a lot of people don't really talk about because it's kind of controversial and stuff, but it's going to be the truth, and at least my experiences when applying to college as wanting to be pre-med. And I also applied to BSMD programs, so I'm going to be talking a lot about that too. So I definitely knew I wanted to be a physician going into college. Next, another thing that I kind of want you all to keep in the back of your heads as you're watching all these 5 videos and the Q&A session is think about your goals. What do you want to get out of college? What do you want to do in college? Are there certain things that you want to be in a college experience? Defining these goals early on, especially right now it's July. So starting to think about these goals is going to help you a lot when it comes to your personal statements and your supplemental essays. So definitely start thinking about your goals and what you want out of your college application, both your college application process and college in general. It'll help you a lot doing that introspection early on. All right, so that's finished in a little overview of this 5-part series, but now let's get into the actual timeline. But before I do, I want to talk about one thing in this 5-part series, and that's majors. So I'm going to be talking really extensively about what you should apply to as a major when I get to my college list video. But for right now, I kind of just want to touch a little bit on majors and what major you should apply as. So for the most part, your major does not matter at all whatsoever. College students declare their major at the end of their second year, so whatever you apply as now, it's not going to be locked. It's not going to lock you in, and it's not binding at all. And especially if you're pre-med, apply to whatever major you want. And the thing I always say is apply to whatever major fits your narrative. So extracurricular activities, maybe your personal statement, and the supplementals that you can write. Whatever are the strongest supplementals you can write with your essays, that's the major you should apply with. Because you can always switch majors around. You can include pre-med if you want to in your college application, if you can link the major of your choice and your narrative to pre-med. But if you're not really 100% sure about pre-med, you can totally write about something else and get into that college and later decide you want to be pre-med and switch around and stuff, because you don't declare your major until the end of your second year. So that's something that I wish I knew. Also, if you all don't know, I mean, pretty much every single person that's done pre-med, or if you watched videos on this, you know that pre-med is not a major, it's a pre-professional track. I'm not going to repeat that too much because I feel like it's all over the internet. So pre-med is not a major, it's a pre-professional track, but when you're applying for any majors for college, you can apply to any major that you want. It does not matter. Okay, so that's a little bit about majors, but now let's get into the actual timeline, which is what this video is about. I'm going to drop the timeline right now so y'all can look at it and follow along, but I'm just going to break it down month by month. Starting off with June. I know it's July right now, but this is for people watching in the future. But let me talk a little bit about June. In June, you should absolutely do nothing. June is when you're going to be coming out of junior year, which is arguably one of the hardest years of high school. Take a break. You'll need it, trust me. Or this college application process is super long, and you're gonna need the break, or else you're gonna burn out at the end, like I did. I was super excited about college apps, mostly just because I had a terrible junior year, and with COVID and everything getting canceled, and just academically, I wanted to focus my energy on something else. So I put all the energy into college apps. Not the best choice that early on. I wish I started in July instead of June, because when it came to January and the end of December and winter break and that stuff, when all the regular decision applications and needed to be done and submitted, I got super burnt out. I was so tired. I was so done with the whole process and everything. So to ensure that you don't get burnt out when that happens, take a break in June. Definitely start thinking about it though, which is why I put like the light green and light blue marks instead of dark green and dark blue. It's gonna start thinking about stuff. Start thinking about your personal statement, your college list, your why medicine essay if you're applying for BSND. Start thinking about what you could possibly write about, what colleges you possibly want on there, but don't start on anything yet. It's maybe aside from your template, you can probably start like having that template ready for your college list. I've linked my template down below. I run through my template in my I applied to 55 colleges college application journey video. That's the last video that in that 5-part series. So go check that out. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, so I guess it's kind of good. So I mean, if you want to use it, it's gonna be linked down in the description. Make a copy of it, use it for your own college list if you want to, but yeah, it's all good. Now moving to July. So July is right now, and this is when you should start on your college apps. This is when you should start actually writing that personal statement. This is when you should start, definitely have this template now. When it hits July, right now, you should have your template out, and then start adding colleges to it. The best way for me, when I think about making colleges, is to add as many colleges as you could possibly fathom and like think about going to. Add in as many colleges as you want. You'll definitely cut it down later, but it's gonna be more liberating for you if you add all the colleges and get that out of your system right now than thinking about it later on and maybe wanting to add it, maybe not wanting to add it and stuff. So just add as many colleges as you want. And then personal statement, definitely start on your personal statement. Pick a topic. That's the first thing you should do. July, first task, pick a topic and just start writing. It might be trash. It probably is going to be trash, but it doesn't matter at all. Don't psych yourself out about this. Just start on that personal statement. Just start writing, and then you can revise later on. And the same thing with why medicine. Why medicine is like the secondary personal statement for BSND applications. Start writing your why medicine essay. Start brainstorming. Start compiling all of your medical experiences, your personal connections to medicine, anything that's helped you realize why you want to be a doctor. So start adding that in and get that ready to go. So just start writing. That's the one thing with essays, just start writing. I'll talk a lot more about this when I get to my essay video, which is going to be the third part in this series. Okay, moving into August. August is usually when virtual events are going to be out. Honestly, virtual events are probably out right now too, and even in June. Virtual events are what a lot of colleges are doing because of COVID, or they started doing it because of COVID, or started doing a lot more because of COVID, and they're still continuing to do it. Attend these virtual events, especially for schools that track demonstrated interest. It's going to help you out a lot if you can start attending those right now. Just go to them, watch them, sign in if they require you to sign in, because then they'll help them track demonstrated interest for the colleges that do. And also some colleges are doing interviews as well to kind of get to know their applicants, because COVID has gotten rid of a lot of college visits. So do those interviews. If the college offers one, it'll be a good chance to demonstrate interest and also learn more about the college and for them to learn more about you and stuff. So do those interviews if you can, if the college offers them. Another thing is Oxbridge and UNC. So Oxbridge is like I don't know what it's called. I'm not an English major, but like the combined word for Oxford and Cambridge. Oxford and Cambridge, UK universities, good universities. If you want to apply to them, the deadline is October 15th, which I didn't know about. So everyone talks about the November 1st deadline, which is like the really common early action and early decision deadline, but there's a hidden deadline, and that is October 15th. It's not a deadline that most people know about, but it's a deadline for Oxford, so Oxford and Cambridge. You can only apply to one. You cannot apply to both. And then UNC, which is University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Both of these deadlines are October 15th. For UNC, it's the early action deadline that's October 15th. The regular decision is sometime in January, but if you're out of state, you should apply early action, because you're probably not going to get in if you apply regular decision. North Carolina, like legislature and stuff, has a limit of like how many out-of-state applicants they can take, and they have to do I think 90% North Carolina applicants. So that's why if you're applying there and if you want to attend there, definitely apply early action by October 15th. I'll talk a little bit more about whether UNC is a good school for pre-med or not when I do my college list video, which is coming after this. So be sure to look out for that. And then lastly, but definitely not least, this is when you should pick your early decision school and also start thinking about your early action schools. Okay, let's talk about early decision a little bit. I'll talk a lot more about this in my college list video, but let's talk a little bit about this. Please, 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 please early decision if you know you want to get into one of like the top 20, top 30 schools. College application, like admissions are so competitive now, especially with this year, that if you want to get into one of these really, really good colleges, you should early decision. Pick one that you vibe with, pick one that's going to set you up best academically. When I release my college list video later on, you'll know what to look out for when choosing the right college. So definitely wait out for that. It's going to come out next Sunday. But when it comes to early decision, please early decision if you want to get into one of the top tier colleges, because it is getting really, really competitive. When it comes to financial aid and all that, I'll talk more about that in my college list video, but for the most part, it's all going to be equal. And then Ivy Leagues, if you're early decision, then they don't offer any scholarships, they only do financial aid. But I'll break that down a lot more when it comes to my college list video. Okay, and then early action, make sure to select your early action schools too. I would highly recommend everyone apply to at least some early action schools. It's nice to have those 1 or 2 acceptances in your back pocket when you start out, when you end off your first semester of high school. It's just a nice sense of security for you to know that you have somewhere you can go to college. And I'll talk a lot about what early action schools are good for pre-med when I do my college list video, which is coming out next. Okay, September, keep doing everything you're doing. By now you should pretty much be done with your personal statement. You should be done with your personal statement so you can submit for those October deadlines. If you're not doing any October deadline schools like Oxford or UNC, then you can extend your personal statement a little bit further and keep working on it until the end of October. But right now is a good time to finish up your personal statement in September. And then BSMD applications. So this is about the time when you should start working on your BSMD supplementals. 50% of like all BSMD programs out there will only require you to do the Y medicine essay, and they'll be fine with that. Your personal statement and Y medicine is all they need. You might have some supplementals for their undergraduate university, but for the most part, 50% of them won't require you to do any additional supplementals. But there are 50% that will. 50% is an arbitrary number that I'm coming up with right now. This isn't accurate by any means, but like there's a couple that will require you to do supplementals, like Brown, Pliny, Hofstra 4+4 have a lot of supplementals. Penn State has a lot of supplementals. They're probably the one that has the most. So if you're applying to Penn State's BSMD program, definitely start early. This is about when you should be starting on working on the supplementals for BSMD. Oh, and one thing I missed out when I was doing August, September, October, all this time, you should also be working on your UC or University of California PIQs, or personal insight questions. So if you're planning on applying to University of California UC schools, August, September, October, you should be working on your PIQs so you can submit them by November 30th, which is the deadline for University of California. And speaking of October, let's get into October. October, keep working on everything you're doing. By now, you should stop attending virtual events, or don't stop attending virtual events, but kind of tone down on them a little bit. You don't need to focus on them too much, because right now it's the time to start writing your essays and really cracking down on those essays. Also, by now you should be done with Oxbridge and UNC, because the deadline is October 15th. So October, you should be submitting those too if you're applying to them. And then keep working on your early action. Really crack down on your early action and early decision schools, because when November rolls around, November 1st and November 15th are the two biggest early action and early decision deadlines. So this is when you're going to apply. And then November 30th is UC deadline. So this is when you're going to submit all of your UC PIQs and stuff. So November is a very, very, very big month for college applications. Early decision, early action, UCs, some BSMD undergraduate institutions are also due now. A lot of them are actually. A lot of the undergraduate institutions for BSMD require you to apply early action or require you to apply early action so you can submit your BSMD application sometime in January. So November, really, really big month. Don't slack off now. This is the time to actually like grind and like put in all the work. Okay, once November is done, now you can chill for a little bit. Try to do the same strategy you were doing in June. Chill. Really focus on school, because this is when your first semester is going to end. And trust me, first semester grades matter. They matter a lot. Those are your most recent indications of academic competence. So these are your most recent grades. So colleges will care about them a lot. Not your early decision or early action colleges, but your regular decision colleges will care about them a lot. So definitely no senioritis. This is not the time for senioritis. Senioritis is save for second semester senior year. But keep working hard, get as high of a GPA as you can. And then when winter break comes around, your first semester is done. Now it's time for y'all to start working on your regular decision applications. So regular decision, the strategy I used, obviously by now, by December, you should have your entire college list done, figured out everything, pretty much set in stone. Keep working on your BSND supplementals, but now you're gonna have to add on your regular decision supplemental applications. So these are all the ones that are due in January, which is a good segue into January. January is when you're gonna be submitting all of your regular decision applications. Honestly, there's no one date in January where they're all due. January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th, 11th. All these are all fair game. First 2 weeks of January is when regular decision applications are going to be due. So January is another really big month. Definitely don't slack off now. Submit all of your BSND applications and submit all of your regular decision applications as well. Okay, that was a lot. But June to January, that's all the work time you're going to have. Moving into February to May, not much there. Throughout February and March. Throughout February and early March, you might have some interviews from some of the big schools like Ivy Leagues, like Harvard, Stanford, I think does them. Princeton does them. UPenn does them. What else? Vandy does them, I think. Rice also. So these are all schools that have interviews, so alumni interviews. So if you get an alumni interview, definitely take advantage of it. And then if you don't get an alumni interview, don't stress. Like honestly, it's not a big part of your application at all. And if you don't get one, it just means they didn't have alumni in your area. That happened to me with Vanderbilt. So don't worry about it. Don't stress. It's all good. But you might have to do some interviews during that time. And then one thing I'll talk about is senior year grades, second semester. Okay, there's two things. You should try to keep them as much as you can, but your second semester senior grades only matter pretty much for two reasons usually. Well, mostly just one reason. If you're waitlisted, your second semester senior grades will matter. Those are what are used to kind of determine whether you get taken off the waitlist or not. They're updates that can be sent in. But other than that, it doesn't really matter. Your second semester senior grades, just don't fail any classes, no D's and F's. Try not to get more than one C. Honestly, no C's is what I was aiming for. I got 2 B's my second semester, my senior year. Try to get any C's, but if you can chill a little bit now, you've gotten here, and then by April 1st, you'll have all your decisions. They'll start rolling in throughout March. April 1st, you'll have all your decisions, and May 1st is national candidates reply date or something like that. But that's when you commit to one college and you're done. That's the end of your college application process. Okay, that is the entire college application timeline. I hope you all got some value out of it and kind of understand a little bit more. July is right now, time to start working. Make sure to watch all my videos while you're working through them, because I'll give advice kind of within the time period of when you're watching the video and when the video releases. But that's pretty much it for the timeline. Make sure to leave your comments. Make sure to leave any questions you have about the timeline or anything else college related in the comments below. Anything I talked about, anything that I didn't even talk about, leave that in the comments. I'll address as many questions as I can. Try to get through all of them when I do my Q&A session after all these 5 videos. And then last but not least, all the essays that I talked about, personal statements, supplementals, get them checked. And obviously Nidhi Bhaskar is the one that I always recommend to literally every single person I meet. She's the best at doing essays. Just email her at nidhi_bhaskar@brown.edu. Tell her you heard about her on BADRUDDIN'S channel and you want to work with her, and she'll set up a time to meet. Her prices are the cheapest that I've ever seen, and she offers the best quality when it comes to essay writing. I've talked a lot about her in my other videos, so go watch those other videos if you want to learn more about her. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, subs if you loved it. I'll see y'all later.